Hey, what's up you guys? This is Junior Trader, and in this video we are taking a look at three big earnings potential that we have. So the first one is Microsoft. It has its earnings tomorrow. Then Meta, and then ASML. These are the three stocks we are going to take a look at in this video. I'll take you over the options data, the price action, my opinion, and all of that good stuff. So with that, please also note, none of this is any financial advice. It's only for education purposes, just sharing my opinion. Please do your own thing. If you are a member, many of these stocks may not be a complete news to you, and you may have already been making a lot of moves on this, as I do talk about this as if you're a member to any of my memberships on the Patreon. So anyways, so Microsoft is what we'll start off with. As I said, I'll take you over the options data, but before that, I want to first talk about the price action, the good stuff, guys. So what is the price action telling us on Microsoft? Well, it's telling me that we are just bullish. Price action is just bullish in the structure. I just turned on my tools. We are just bullish over here. Now, it all comes down to earnings. Even if any pullback happens, that's what I have been saying, at least in the price action. Technically, it's all about earnings now tomorrow. But even if price, let's say tomorrow falls, collapse to 431, it's still just going to be in the bullish structure. Microsoft is just bullish. All right. Now, anyways, I want to take you over the options data where the traders are betting their money, and then I want to provide my opinion as what, even if let's say Microsoft gaps down tomorrow because it's bullish, but no one knows what's going to happen through the earnings, and let's say Microsoft just gaps down, until where gap down will still remain bullish, right? So let's talk about first the options data. Let me show you that. So this is Microsoft options data. Definitely, it's many bulls are betting on the call side for sure. 470, 455, 450, these were where the spikes are. Microsoft right now is at 445. That definitely the highest spike, 470, is at the all-time highs area right up here. That's where traders are betting their money that it's gonna gap up to a new all-time highs. All right, that's where most of the, well, close to pretty much where 455 is also, right? And definitely 455 it's also at one of our significant levels right up over here around. And any of these are possible in my opinion. All right, Microsoft is a gapper through the earnings. Last time it did what, the gap down of almost 5%. Prior to that there wasn't much, I guess. Yeah, there wasn't much gap up or gap down. Let me just double check again. Yeah, there wasn't much, but the earnings prior to that, we did have a gap scenario here, and yeah, here we go. We had a gap up, and then so almost 3-4-5%, right? But anyways, my point is that gap is very possible to the upside. But let's say, and those options may very well come into fruition, the ones where traders are betting their money, as I just showed you. Now the point another I want to make here is that what if it gaps down, right? So since the price action is so bullish on Microsoft, if we gap down, let's say 5% or so, because that's what the Microsoft usually does, right? Let's say price action stays here choppy, 5% down would be maybe just what, $423 area, right? So that would not really hurt Microsoft. It will be very much just like previous last time when we did a gap down in the earnings. We still were in the bullish zone areas, and we were just fine. The following days we got bought back up. So Microsoft, let's say even if it gaps down, but even if let's say it stays above even 410, Microsoft is still fine. Eventually it's just going to get bought back up just because it's in the bullish price action. But what I'm saying is we'll have to see the price action thereafter. But what I'm saying is that gap down, even if it happens, will not really hurt Microsoft in a way that is not really going to change its overall direction to the downside, as long as we stay above 410, which most likely we will. So anyways, that's my opinion on Microsoft. Let's get to the next one, Meta. So Meta, I did talk about over the weekend as well on my channel. Meta's 700 plus earnings possibilities, and that's still very likely. Look, overall structure has remained bullish on this thing. All right, let's turn on my tools here. Overall structure is bullish, and we are just bullish. Yesterday's debacle didn't affect Microsoft, got bought back up. Didn't affect Meta. Meta was like, hey, I don't care. All right, Meta was like, huh, all other market can fall, but I'm going to the moon. And Meta just did that yesterday. It's still bullish, still at all-time highs. Anyhow, I mean, again, if you're a member on Patreon, you already knew all these plays, and we have been talking about it. Everything here is on Meta is just bullish now. Scenarios, I have already talked to you guys of its gap up and gap down in the weekend video that I did on the channel as well. I'm just gonna really quickly get some percent moves here on 10%, give or take, right? Look, this thing, even if it gaps down tomorrow, I'll get to the options data in just a second, but even if it gaps down, let's say after earnings, it has a chance and a room to stay above 637. Even if, let's say, it loses it, but if it, let's say, stays above 600 to $604, Meta is eventually still just going to be fine, in my opinion. More likelihood is that it's just going to gap up, going to continue higher. Again, all these moves we already knew ahead of the times, and this is the options data. It's a little bit, I have a huge range here because I want to bring a lot of things in perspective, but let me walk you through. Now, Meta 700 calls are through the roof, guys, through the roof. Everyone is betting over there, right? And also overall sentiment is still on the call side. Meta is just fine, and Meta, even if it gaps down, it's not really going to break its neck as long as we stay above $600, which in my opinion we might most likely. If we lose $600, we do have then at least couple of days, a week or so problems, and that may bring it down to 549. But am I seeing that happening? No. Anything until 637 is just a pullback. All right. So Meta is just fine. All right. The last one is ASML. ASML is just for the reason it's a good bigger market cap stock, and it also has its earnings tomorrow. So I want to talk about it. Look, very simply, I'm just going to talk about it. So I looked up the options data on this, and there is nothing pretty much. It's a very less options traded or less options favorable stock. There's just not much distinguishness between calls or the puts. Very limited also calls and the puts being traded on this thing. As for the price action, it's bearish. Only thing, if earnings can turn it around, well, it would need to gap up above this zone of 734. If it gaps up after earnings above it, there is a life back in this thing. Otherwise, no, it's just bearish. Don't expect much out of it. We'll have to get above this 730 to 740 area as a zone. And if we gap up above it, then only things will look good on this thing. Otherwise, no. ASML is, at least for now, it's not really going to change much in this. The confirmed good play would not be there, even if it gaps up but stays below 730 to 740 range, right? All right, these are the three stocks I want to talk about with you guys in this video. Definitely, Meta is looking really awesome, and so is Microsoft Unstoppable. But as I said, as I just talked about, let's stick with those things, and the plan and the price action and the areas to watch and the important levels is what I want to focus on in this video, which I did. And I'll see you in my next videos, guys. Take care. Bye.